strength in you. Dun 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 dun. Coming through with the strength in you. Hey boo, hey, coming through with the strength in you. What it do, what it do? Coming through with the strength in you. You made it, good job. Strength in you, coming through. Strength in you, coming through. Hey boo.
Hey, boo, hey. Happy Monday. Happy Monday, Monday, Monday. Okay, for real. Good morning, good morning. We about to bring in our queen on the scene. Hold on, booze. Good morning, Sugarfoot.
Hey, hey, how are
How you
you?
doing?
I'm feeling a whole lot better.
Good. It's good to see you, honey. You
Hmm?
looking real queenish of the now right now. I am feeling the flavor.
Thank you.
Give it to 'em. Okay. Now listen, y'all. I know y'all been missing our king of all things. Okay. We're about to bring him in on the scene. Okay. Back.
What's up, guys? Ooh.
Good morning. Good morning. How
Good
you
morning,
doing, my
guys.
love?
I'm glad to be back. Yeah, it feels good to be back. How you guys doing?
I'm blessed. I'm here. I can't complain. It ain't gonna do no good anyway. So we in here.
True.
How you
But
Okay,
yeah,
feeling?
it
I ain't
feels good to be back. It
just.
feels good to be back, hey guys.
It's good to see y'all faces. It's been an amazing weekend because, like I said, we made it through the weekend. So that's the plus right there. Can't get no better than that. But today we got
Welcome.
a different type of show. Today is gonna be like a real show, like a real show. Like it's about molestations.
Ooh.
Yeah, that's gonna be
What's
a
up, Jocelyn?
hey Jocelyn, Sugarfoot, sweet face, honey love. No, look, they looked at me like, wait, too much. Okay,
Especially for the show we're gonna talk about.
but
Really
that's why
heavy
you gotta
stuff.
keep it light. No, you gotta keep it because it's a painful topic and we
Yeah.
don't want to stray or run from it. You know what I'm saying? Because it is a thing, and unfortunately, I can't speak from no other community but my own. And I know in the Black community, it happens way too often, and it happens like with people of your family. So it's something that I feel like need to be talked about. And if time permits, our special guest just hit me up and was like, "Oh, I forgot I had a doctor's appointment. I'm gonna try to slide through still because I made a promise. So we'll see what happens with that." But either way it go, I'm sure we all had some kind of experience with it, whether it was personal with me, one on one, or whether you know somebody. But
Yeah.
unfortunately, it's just a deep topic. So we're gonna not only talk about that topic, but we're gonna keep it light at the same time because we don't want nobody to leave worse than they came in. You got to leave out of straight talk feeling better than you went in. So we're gonna talk about it, but we ain't gonna like let it control who we are, if that makes sense. So before we get into
Yes.
it, I guess before we get into it, let me just ask, how was y'all weekend? Before I talked about the blessings and all that good stuff, tell me about your weekend.
My weekend was good. Hung
What's
out
up,
with my
Jeff?
sister. What's up, Jeff? Hung out with my family, and today we're doing a lot like decorating the house, getting ready for Christmas. So the weekend was
Okay,
good.
that's what's up. That's always good. See, y'all doing it early. We usually don't get ready for Christmas until after Thanksgiving, like. But I
Nah,
see
we do
y'all.
it early over here. My mom loves Christmas.
That's what's up. And how was your weekend, Courage? Before we get into this topic,
Mine was good. I'm getting over being sick for 2 to 3 weeks. So it was good. I still got I say I'm about 95% better.
okay, okay, that's a plus. Well, like I said, you looking real queen of the nowish. I'm loving it, honey. You looking fine. Appreciate that. She like, no, but seriously, okay,
Thank
we're
you,
gonna get
thank
right
you.
into it because we're gonna end up switching the topic up before the show is over. Before the end of this show, we're gonna end up laughing about something. We is not. We will
Yeah.
not laugh because this is strength and you straight talk. So anywho, molestation. So
Oof.
unfortunately, it is it's a tough topic, and it happens in, like I said, our African American communities, like really heavy. And I know for me, for personal experience, when it started for me, I was like 4 years old, and it was by a relative. And when it happened, I didn't realize it was a bad thing, if that makes sense. I thought it was normal because it happened at such a young age that I
Yeah.
grew to think this was a normal part of life. And it took me well up until my teenagehood when I took sex ed that I learned what was appropriate and what wasn't, because since my mom passed when I was so young and my dad didn't really know how to talk to girls about that type of stuff, we didn't talk about it. So it wasn't, safe touches wasn't taught. So I guess the point of this whole episode is going to be hopefully to remind somebody that it wasn't their fault that it happened to them, but to also remind people of the importance of teaching safe touches to kids early in life, because a lot of people don't really recognize what safe touches are because nobody said it. I'm sure,
It's
but
true.
it does, but I can only speak to mine because I can only
Yeah.
speak to me. But I definitely know it happens in all communities. I just don't know the rates. Maybe I should have got a little more in depth with that part, but I definitely know it happens in all communities. But what you feel about that, Courage? Have you had any experience with in this topic?
I can only, mm, I haven't had experience personally, but I know some people
Okay.
that have experienced it. Um, it does happen a lot in our community, and what's so bad about it because it's hushed about it
Mm-hmm.
in the families that most people know about it. They don't even express it to other people about what didn't happen, and so it's like you close to the situation, or it's like it's a bad thing.
Right.
When I think about it, it's a hurtful situation, especially when it comes from someone that's supposed to protect you.
Yeah. You know what I just noticed? I just realized I asked Courage first, didn't go straight to wisdom.
Yeah.
And I think it's because she's a female. And that doesn't mean it don't happen in the male communities. That just means the likelihood is a little less. But I just realized that when she was talking, and I was like, why did I ask her first? And I thought about it because I'm literally studying gender stuff right now, and it talks about how we put certain not pedestals, certain stereotypes on women and men. And I just did that without even realizing I just did that. Wow. Man blowing.
Yeah.
Wow. But anyway, Wisdom, have you had any experience?
Um, I haven't had any per se like molestation, but
Yeah.
I was introduced to sexuality very early on, and that kind of shaped my approach when I got older to sex. But I do know a lot of people, sadly, a lot of females who've been molested, um, and it changes you. It really does. It takes away your innocence.
Yeah.
And most of the time, sadly, it's white people you're meant to be taken care of. Like people are supposed to protect you, who do
Yeah.
like the most vile thing to you, and it's this is a touchy subject for sure. But I kind of wish I wasn't introduced. Looking back on it now, I wish I had time to be more of a kid and not be introduced to all these adult related themes early.
Yeah.
Um, because it changed my mind. Like instead of focusing on, and I haven't really thought about this until right now, but like in high school, junior high school, instead of worrying about school, I was worried about like getting chicks and doing this and that. And
Yeah.
I wish I would have had time to be more of a kid, and um, maybe it is molestation. I haven't really thought about it um until right now, to be honest with you. But yeah, like there is a stereotype with it happens more to women, but definitely there's men who go through the same thing. And in the male community, it's a little more quiet, right?
Right.
More than females, because like guys are either ashamed or we don't have that. We keep our feelings and stuff to ourselves, so we don't really announce these type of things early on. We just kind of like either we just kind of live our life. And yeah, like one of my best friends has gone through it, so, and he's a male, so
Hmm.
there's not like a female male difference. Like we all go through it. It's just
Yeah.
different levels.
Yeah, and I think that's a problem. I actually know a couple of males that has happened to, and they don't talk about it. And I think part of the reason is because boys are taught you're supposed to be strong and tough. You don't cry, you don't this, you don't that. So when stuff like that happens to them, they are embarrassed or ashamed or feel less than because number one, their power was taken enough to where it did happen to them. And now, how can I be sensitive and say this to somebody? Because they told me I can't cry. They told me I can't feel this. I can't hurt. You know what I mean? So if don't nobody learn nothing from what we're talking about right now, hopefully, is that we need to teach these boys different because they deserve to be able to express themselves and to feel and to have somebody have their back when they go through the stuff that they're going through because it's real out here and it's happening way too much. And it's because boys are not even taught about safe touches because men made them think it's cool if somebody's touching your body like that. That's what you're looking for. You know what I'm saying? Hey,
Yeah.
whoever the user is, honey.
Hey.
I think that it need to be taught in both male and female because sometimes females don't want to speak up because
Hey, Robin.
you be considered as, oh, she just being fast,
Uh-huh.
and they don't want to speak up and say no, this is what happened to me.
Mm-hmm.
And we have to come to learn that it's basic because some people can speak up to someone that's supposed to protect them, and then they turn around on them that will make them not want to speak the truth. They just
Yeah.
live with it.
Yeah. That and I think about the fact that I know as a little girl, I was taught things like you're supposed to dress a certain way, and if you got your legs open and all this kind of stuff, you deserve what happened to you. And I know for a long time, I felt like I deserved what happened to me because it was taught to us that because we didn't carry ourselves a certain type of way, if this man did whatever he did to you, it was because you put it out there that that's what you wanted, and that's not always the case. You know what I'm saying? So, ooh, this is deep, y'all. This is deep.
Yeah.
But
Great
it
way
needs
to
to
come
be
back,
talked
Junior.
about because it needs to be talked about. Because
Yeah.
another thing, it shouldn't be nobody feeling like shouldn't nobody feel like it's their fault for what they wore, what they said, going somewhere by themselves. No reason in the world should nobody feel like it's their fault for somebody sexually assaulting them. Call it what you wanna, you know what I'm saying? But I feel like we more than ever, we need to be able to call a thing in order to break these cycles.
Yeah.
We just talked about breaking chains, and we can't break chains if we pretend it's, oh, I don't see it, it's not happening, and then we can't say what it is because either you're a boy and you're supposed to be tough, or because you just need to be quiet. Because in certain families, they don't talk about that type of stuff. It's so crazy to me.
Mm.
Um, like I know that you went through the situation.
Mm-hmm.
And my question is to you: how could you grow up and still? Because I know how openly you are welcome people into your life. Like, how do you just keep trusting people? Because I know my trust would be like, no, I can't get close to you, or I won't be so as friendly as you are.
I think number one, it took practice. I wasn't always like that. I was very aggressive at first. I fought anybody who touched me, and when it came to me actually being in something that I wanted to be in, I just laid there and kind of took it because that's what I was used to. But as far as like inviting people in my life, now I'm that way because thanks to stroke, I've been reprogrammed and I am reinventing myself, taking my power back from what they stole from me. And for a long time, I just gave away that power because I didn't know how to take it back. But I feel like now I got the control, I got the power. So it's easy for me to be inviting to people in general because I don't see sex. I don't see male and female. I look at the heart of a person. And that's kind of what attracts me, even with a friendship, if you got a good spirit or not. So that's what makes it, I guess, somewhat easy for me to invite certain people in my life. But definitely everybody don't get it that easy because if I feel
Mm-hmm.
something from you, you're going to get that cold person and you're going to be like, I don't know that girl, whatever, because I'm going to be a thug.
But okay, I have, if y'all don't mind, I have my niece sitting on side of me,
Uh-huh.
and this topic, I'm just gonna ask her as a younger person,
Okay.
how would she feel? She might not want to get on camera, but she can talk well.
Right.
We can hear her.
Absolutely.
Okay, what's going on? What you the one that got all the booty? So,
Come
you
on,
know, on
Niecy
this.
Boo. Come on, Niecy Boo. Hey, girl.
Hi.
Hey, babe. Are you scroll so low?
Love you,
What the?
Jennifer.
You go back, Cheryl, but the camera. Hey, Jennifer. Hey,
Well, first
Haley.
of all,
Hey, my
Niecy Boo,
uncle.
what's your name, honey? Let the people know who you are.
So my name is Markia. Everybody calls me Kiki. I am Courage's second daughter. After my mom passed, she took on the role of being my mom. So it's I'm Kiki though.
Hey, Kiki, I'm your auntie girl.
Oh, I know, ain't it? I know.
She said, "Hey, auntie. Hey, uncle." She
Oh,
knows
Yep.
Junior, my brother.
what's up,
But
my love? What would you like to share? What are you comfortable with sharing, honey?
So I have went through past trauma of molestation myself and two different incidents. And for me, one of them was my mom was still alive, but we had moved to Houston, so we wasn't really in contact with my aunt and my grandma. And we ended up spending the night at my step in laws. And an incident occurred where her brother ended up molesting me and his own actual blood
Oh, my
niece at the
goodness.
same time. So I end up waking up from feeling that pain and kind of went to my older brother and he just basically like just told me like stay away from him. And I was kind of upset because I was still in like young, probably about 8. And I was just like, I'm not understanding. Like we're all in this house with this dude, and I just told you this dude like touched me, and you're not worried about it. So I end up going and telling my mom when I made it home, and she told my stepdad, which was like my real father. He ended up grabbing me and my mom, hauling ass in the truck, and end up actually fighting the dude. And
Okay.
so in that incident, my brother ended up fighting my stepfather with the dude that touched me. So that kind of pushed me, has been kind of a big strain on me and my older brother, because I kind of felt like since he was my older brother, you should have did something more. And to go ahead and actually physically assault our stepfather when that situation was happening, when he was defending me, and I felt like that's what it needs to be happen, you kind of join in with him. So at that time, I know it definitely put a big strain to my older brother. Um, and that first instant when I told my mom, my first reaction, like you said, Annie, was do not tell don't tell your grandma, don't tell Nanny, don't tell nobody in Brian. Just keep it between us. Like don't tell nobody. So it was kind of like before my auntie kind of took on the role as my best friend, my grandma was my best friend. So it's like I tell Granny everything, and like now you're telling me I can't tell her. So it was kind of confused at that time. But as I got older, another incident ended up happening where it was from probably about 9 to 10. And then I end up telling my grandma when I was 16. And like you said, even like my T Lady said, is basically like I feel like in the black community, a lot of black people keep it where it needs to stay in the quote unquote family.
Mm-hmm.
And it is that judgment of girls, you acting fast
Yeah.
and all of that, but sometimes it's just not that. It's more to it. And then I feel like a lot of women go astray because of that love that they really don't know. They end up getting with these guys seeking that love that they want and thinking it's okay to go through stuff like that and to say, okay, well it's normal,
Right.
it's okay. And it's just, and especially like you said, in the black community, it is a hush hush situation, and it happens so many times. And it's so quick for the elders to say, "Oh, she's fast. She just out there." And
Yeah.
sometimes it doesn't be like that. So for me, it took a while, just like with you, Amy, from actually even just hugging my dad to getting close to dudes. Like I know my grandma and them just thought that I wanted to be out there, but I was a tomboy, so of course I was around dudes. But like physically, I was timid around dudes. I wasn't sexually attracted to them because I was still in that mind frame of like I don't know what's gonna happen, and if something happened, I can't say anything.
Right.
So I'm not even interested in trying to get out there like that anymore because it was pushed back to say, okay, well, you can't speak about it if it does happen. But I think that is something, especially in the black communities, that we need to kind of stop jumping up and just saying she fast, or kind of get to the roots of it and stop just keeping it in the family, because sometimes families can't, console you like you really need.
Yeah.
Sometimes it do take therapy. Sometimes it does take shadow work. But it took a long time for me to actually start loving myself again, because I felt like when dudes looked at me, that's all they wanted was sexual. They were sexually attracted to me.
Mm.
And that's not something that I wanted. But that's just my personal opinion.
Girl,
Well,
you
we
spoke
thank you for
facts.
that.
Let me just tell you, Kiki, I commend you for number one, being strong enough to put your story out there, boo. I appreciate you. And then while you was talking, we got another special guest in this piece, Tawanda on the scene.
Hello, everybody.
Hello,
How
Tawanda.
are you? Courage and
Hey,
wisdom, strength,
Good.
Kiki.
hey.
How are
Hey, girl,
you?
hey. It's
I've
I was like, damn, that was quick.
I would have joined earlier, but I'm getting ready to take my daughter to the doctor.
Gotcha.
But I wanted to jump in and say, I have too been a victim of molestation. And only thing we can do now is just like move forward from all of And it stops us from really being able to move forward and live our life. We've been through a lot, but for me, I have all girls. So yes, it's a trust issue when I get around people or men I'm with, and until I find out who they are, I really don't get close to them like that. But when I do get close to them like that, see that they love their own children and stuff like that, it kind of takes it down a little bit. And but me, I don't drill on the past. I don't, because it's too much depression out here, and the more you be depressed, the less you can do, you know. So I just keep a smile on my face, and I let them demons deal with what they done. If they still here on earth, that's on them. I just try to raise my girls to let them know they're very outspoken. How they had us back in the day where we couldn't say this and we can't say that. We're being disrespectful. We being this, we being that. No, I don't raise them like that. They can speak their mind. If somebody walk up to them and say anything to them just out of pocket, they know to come tell me or tell somebody else. So I don't want them to feel like they have to be hush hush. They can't talk. They can't do this. They're not going to be raised like that. If they tell me anybody didn't do anything to them, we be you know. Just I don't want to do a lot of cussing, but y'all know what I'm saying. And yeah, so I just try to keep them happy where they don't have to worry about asking people for this, asking for people for that. And yeah, we're gonna grow up like she said, when people be, oh, you're fast, you're this. First of all, if y'all would from the beginning what to do and what not to do, instead of just saying this is how we are, maybe it wouldn't seem that way once we tell you somebody did something to us. And yeah, we grow, we have our boobs, our ass might get big, all type of stuff. You know what I'm saying? But that don't mean for another man or woman, whoever it is, to just want to touch you. And see, in my experience, it was always me being cornered, like catch or something, and try to touch my titty, or sitting in their car, try to touch my leg and all this stuff. And it's just crazy. Sleep, come in your room and put their hands on you and stuff like that. See, that's not cool. And like I told my grandmother, and the first thing she said was, they're sick. You think? So if you know they're sick, why would you have them around?
I'm sorry.
If you know they're sick, why would you keep them around your family like that, knowing they can constantly do this to other people? And it just wasn't me. So if you know they're sick, why is they here? Like, so we can get touched and all this other stuff. So she really just didn't know how to handle it. You know what I'm saying? And I just think like she tried her best. But
Right.
other than that, but when we told our grandfather snapped. He snapped, and he was more of a protector. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I just hate that everybody who go through it, they just shuts down and that's it. No, you don't shut down. You fight that demon, you get it off your back, and you teach your kids what to do and what not to do. Ain't no time for shutting down, because you have children now, and you have to protect it even if you don't have a man in the house. So, but with that being said, I just had to come in and speak my piece, because I promised my girl I'll be up on here. And my daughter had a baby, so I got to make sure she's straight too. But yeah, it's just a shame that we always wait until somebody die, or you know, um, to really speak. No, speak out how you feel when them people are alive, so they can feel what you feel. Stop letting these people get away with this stuff. More when you let them get away with touching you and this and don't say nothing, they got the power. We don't want them to have that power. We want to take our power back, and that's putting them on front street so they can't do that shit to nobody else. You know
That
what I'm
part.
saying? And I'm serious because I swear I'm letting you know. You touch, don't know. I'm not playing no game. And I'm not. You say I did it, okay? So I'm gonna happen to them. I'm gonna stab him or something. But other than that, then y'all gonna know I'm serious. It takes for a person is to listen to their children.
Morning, sugar.
Mhm.
And that's
Yep.
why
But
that's a valid
Absolutely.
point right there in itself. Everybody hushing
Listen.
their kids. Everybody hushing their kids. Going there and watch TV. Go play the game. Go do this. You ain't asking about their day. You ain't asking what happened at so and so house when you dropped them off or whatever you did. Like
right,
everybody's so ready to go party and kick it and ignore their kids, and then all this stuff happening. And then it's like, well, I don't know what happened. Well, you ain't find out what was going on with your child. And then, like
right.
we all talked about, it happens right in our very households. And
Hmm.
everybody's so afraid to talk about it. But how can we break these cycles if don't nobody say nothing? And if you don't
Right.
use it to fuel your fire, like ain't nothing wrong with talking about it. But don't let it consume you to where you stop living your life. You stop trying. You stop
Hmm.
in your tracks and just let this thing consume you. Because then you ain't gonna go nowhere.
Mm-mm.
But it's important though that for real, we really start talking to our kids and teach them about safe touches and all that.
Man.
Absolutely. How you feeling down that wisdom? I know it's a touchy subject.
I I like I said, I didn't go through that myself, so it's like kind of hard to relate. And as a guy, the only guy on the show, I feel like it's not my place to really speak on it, because it didn't happen to me. But like, I know people who it happened to, and um, I agree that it shouldn't be a hush hush. Like I agree, like everybody should open their mouth and speak out and kind of put these people on front street. Like it's too many people getting away with it, and like Tawanda said, given the power, like, and then they're gonna do it to somebody else, and they're gonna do it to somebody else. Like if we don't put these people on front street, like it's never gonna like change, you know
Right.
and ultimately that's what we're doing this for is to provide change, so um yeah, I'm just listening and taking it all in, and for once on this show I'm just kind of like I don't really have nothing to say. Like it's not a bad thing, right? I'm just taking it all in.
Yeah.
No,
Right.
I hear you. I appreciate you. But you
Yeah.
can tell although you haven't physically been through it, you can talk to the importance of teaching the, the importance of prevention. You can talk to that part of it. So I definitely understand though with you being the only male in
Yeah.
this joint.
I'm like,
For a second, I
I'm
thought
just
you was
gonna
gonna be like,
listen.
"I'll just come back to the next show."
No, I like
I
I
have
think
a
it's important that there is a guy like present, right? So we can kind of give like the male version, right? Like even
Yeah,
though I didn't go through it, but like I would have wished that on like I have a sister, and I would have wished that on her, and I would have wished that on my niece and nephews who are growing up right now. Like if somebody touched my niece, I'd kill him, like
right.
straight up. So um yeah, I agree. Like it shouldn't be a hush hush anymore, especially in these times. Like um just not take it seriously, right? But like yeah, just put these people on Front Street. Really. Um yeah, that's all
No,
I can say on that.
okay, Kurt, you was gonna say something, but before you say it, I gotta get these comments out before I lose where I'm at, girl. Hold on. So Jeff made a valid point.
okay.
As a parent, you gotta believe your kids when they tell you something.
Hmm.
I know a lot of us
Definitely.
didn't
Yeah.
believe. And this is why we got to teach our kids the importance of telling the truth and how we're not going to always like what they say, but the truth is more important than what they said because you want to be able to believe them in what they're saying. So
Right.
it's important to listen to your kids and believe them. And then Miss Lily said, y'all, we have to teach our children to tell. I don't care who the person is or was doing something wrong to them. That's very true as
Mm-hmm.
well. It don't
Facts.
matter who it is, because unfortunately, it was the people who was uncles that was supposed to have been protecting us that did what they did. So I mean, you know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Yeah.
You don't know who doing what, so you just gotta listen and be observant and watch and just be vigilant. Aloha, boo. Hey, salute. Okay,
Aloha.
Aloha, aloha.
okay. I'm sorry, honey love. What was you gonna say, Courage?
No, I was just gonna say, like, if you have, for as y'all being parents, because y'all know
Mhm.
I'm not a parent, I just feel being. Baby, I know you like my daughter, but I'm just
Kiki looked at her like, what?
Real quick,
look, as y'all being as parents, and you have a child that's kind of shy, probably not gonna speak up. What are the awareness when you look at that child and something's different? That hey, I need to pull them to the side and talk to them. What is something that a parent needs to be paying attention to? Like their actions, do they stop doing the things they usually do,
In my
or are they acting differently?
in my
can I speak
experience
real quick?
from what I've seen and from working with kids, they kind of go into their own. They withdraw. They withdraw from other
Mm-hmm.
kids, and they withdraw from the things that they love. And you'll notice that they're a little fidgety. Like when you going to touch them or something, they might jump, stuff like that. But
Mm-hmm.
you just got to know that kid well enough to kind of know what they norm is, and when they're acting out of their norm. Mr. Wanda, you got any
And
advice for that part?
yeah, I was just gonna say, and for me, sometimes it's just not like some kids, yeah, they may be shy or they might act a certain type of way, but it's some kids that do stuff that you know they don't supposed to be doing. Like, okay, say like if a person enter the room, a man enter the room and they just too friendly with that man, it's
Mm-hmm.
something not right with that, because if you taught your child in the beginning not to be that way, then all of a sudden with that person that's just how they are, then you have to look into that. You know what I'm saying? Because some kids that I have saw, you
Mm-hmm.
know, that I think it was something bothering them or they've been going through something, so far as like jumping on their laps and sitting on their laps and
Mm.
stuff like that, when you know they don't supposed to be doing that. So of course, when you see something like that, you be like, okay, well, come here. And then that's when in your
Mm.
mind, and if you see it again over and over again, then that's when you should question, okay, what's going on with my child? Why my child so friendly with this one person? And then some kids do shut down. They'll come in, they won't speak, they won't do anything, they'll just be quiet. And that's not their normal routine. Why not question what's going on with that baby? You know what I'm saying? See, me, I've been to pull that baby to the side and just ask the question, because, you just never know what that baby response gonna be. You know,
You know
so
what?
Yeah.
I'm the type that asks a lot of questions with these kids. So, I'm very engaged, and yeah, I just when I see something that's off, I'm gonna say something, because these kids don't know right from wrong. So if ain't nobody teaching them, and these molesters think they can just do what they want to do to them, you know what I'm saying? Then they will get away with it. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But
I
by
know
us being through what we've been through, we very protective over
very.
our children. So we observe them very well, and if we notice one thing that's off with them, we pulling them to the side. You know. And then we just change the whole situation before we go to jail.
Right. I'm protective over any child. I am
Well,
like
yeah,
I'm
facts.
a mama bear for any cub. I don't give a damn if they man or not. Like any child, I am very protective over. But I learned that a lot of kids don't know how to communicate, and they're afraid to say. So a lot of times you can get a lot of stuff from a child just by having them draw pictures. Play games,
Mm-hmm.
draw pictures, and you'll learn a lot from them by the pictures they draw.
Mm-hmm.
So you just kind of like you say, you just got to kind of know that kid and know what works for them, and um, pick their brain, because sometimes
Mm-hmm.
they don't even know, they don't realize it, because maybe it happened at such an early age they don't recognize it's a bad thing. So it's just that communication, y'all. We need to open lines of communication all the way around, especially in our communities. We tell kids, you know, you supposed to be seen, not heard. I know I grew up with that bullshit. I mean, I grew up with that
Yeah.
stuff. You gotta be
I
seen.
try not to check myself too.
If there was ever an episode where we can like let go of the cursing, it's this one, no?
That's facts. That's facts. That's kind of true.
Yeah.
But I know my mouth is real potty, so I'm gonna keep it.
Yeah,
I'm
so yeah.
gonna keep a lock on it.
And I don't have a filter, so I have to watch what I say.
Yes, because we reckless.
Yeah.
But no, so that's the part we gotta stop. That you know, you children supposed to be seen, not heard. When people come over, you know, don't say nothing. Blah blah blah. We just gotta listen. We gotta communicate. We gotta teach our kids how to communicate their issues and what's being done to them, and teach them that it's okay to be able to do that.
And I just think when you teaching your kids how to, you know, be open, like my grandmother said, ain't what you say, it's how you say it. You know, and when we want our kids to be just upfront and outspoken, it's to speak with respect, you know, and that way you can get anything out that you need to say. You know what I'm saying? So when you raising kids, you definitely have to just let them know like it's okay to, you know, speak your mind, but you're gonna do it with respect. And you're not gonna be disrespecting no one, period. You know,
Right.
so I just think just speak with respect, you know.
I'm
And
being.
then yeah.
Jeff said it's hard to discern that something that feels good is so bad, especially if you don't get a lot of attention as a child. As kids, this is part of the problem. That's a
Well, they
fact.
need to be starting to give attention to
Yeah.
these kids then.
That is a fact though, because you know, it's a lot of people like we talked about how they seen and not heard. That means these kids are lacking attention because we got the TVs raising the kids, we got the tablets and the phones and everything else
TikTok,
raising these kids.
something we never had.
Exactly.
Well, most
Exactly.
of the stuff
Kids
that's
are learning
showing
all,
on the
and it's a
TV,
nuisance.
they
It's
thinking
so
it's
sad because
okay.
we had a student in grade school and didn't even see the signs of molestation, and she committed suicide at 17. Her father had been molesting her since she was young. Oh my God.
Now, where was that mother? Like, if was that mother deceased?
But I
Was
mean,
that mother?
a lot of people don't just also just show signs. So that when I can't just say it's always gonna be signs, because I know for me, I was always, just because the trauma that we've dealt with in the family, I've always had that mindset of I have to be the strong one in front of my family. So
Yeah.
Mhm.
I knew the signs, but they didn't know the signs. And I had 5 boys myself, so God blessed me with that one because they know my girls would have caused hell. But
Man.
as a mother, I also work at an adult store.
My
So
pleasure, sir.
I do sell sex products, educate people on sex, anything, the anatomy of the body. And one thing that my coworkers used to laugh at me about, they were like, okay, so when your boys get up in age, what would you do? Because we had a customer come in and was like, I'm tired of picking up my son's dirty socks. What is the best product to get him so he'll stop ruining his socks? And I was like, well, for me personally,
Uh,
just because the stuff I faced with my mother, we kind of got drilled with sex. We don't we don't play about just sleeping with anybody, and that's just because I went through my shadow work and all of that. I'm very open, just like you, Amy. So I don't hide or run from my past. So I'm very open. But I would tell my customers, well, my coworkers, I was like, well, honestly, when my kids get up in age, probably 15 and 14, if I'm still doing the same type of work that I'm doing, I'm gonna get them a care package. They're gonna have a pocket
Yeah,
coochie,
my
they're gonna
son
have
got one
lube,
right
they're
now.
gonna have all of that. I'd rather my kid get that stuff from me and I know they okay, in the back room doing whatever they doing, than to actually go out here in this world and to stick their stuff in somebody and end up getting a disease or end up getting, hey, for males, a lot of times it for me, I was one of those younger girls with my husband. I lied about my age. It's a lot of girls that do that. And I don't want my kids, my boys, to grow up and have to be in that situation of catching anything, getting somebody pregnant early, or even just getting so called saying that they're the molester now. And it's been so many incidents for men that I just told them, like, yeah, when my kids get older, when they get 15, they get the care package from mama. And that's just not me being explicit parent. That's just because of stuff that I've been through, that I rather know that my kids is safe and in their room doing what they're doing instead of out here in this world and have to find the hard way. And one thing that I can say, when I ended up getting more raised by my grandmother and courage, I always was like, dang, they're so strict on me. And now that I'm older, I sit back and realize, like, dang, like, if I know why they were strict. It's this world is tough. It's a lot of stuff. I've had kids at a young age, and it's just going up to finally realize and kind of think like, okay, yeah, I know when I was younger, I'm the only girl. I had two older brothers. I wasn't allowed to sleep in my brother's room. I couldn't sleep in my brother's bed. I can't sleep. I can't sit on no man lap. I can't be in no man face. I know when adults talking, it's time for me to walk out the room.
Mm-hmm.
So it's the older stuff that I was blessed with from my grandma and courage to kind of sit here and think and see, like, yeah, I understand, because even me being 25, I see a lot of teens that I'd be like, girl, don't do it. I had a baby at 16, like, slow down.
Right.
And it's a lot of stuff that I feel like parents need to address to their kids instead of waiting for them to get in school to kind of start talking more about sex or education. The first thing my grandma told me, when the time is right and you feel like you're ready, come to me. And of
Mm-hmm.
course, me being hard headed, I did.
Of
But
course.
Well, right now you have to teach the kids about sex because it's so much on television, it's so much on YouTube, it's so much everywhere that they question. Right now they question boy or girl. The sexuality of a person when we weren't even thinking like that. We wanted just to play.
Right.
well, I mean, I know
You know.
me growing up, Nanny, we had. That's another thing that I feel like African Americans need to break that curse as well. Because me being younger, now that I'm grown, I can tell you. But we used to play hide and go get it. Yeah,
Uh-huh.
goosing. And that's something that's mama and daddy. These are stuff that is basically we're not knowing while we're younger. We know what we're doing ain't right. But at the same time, that's something that I know when I was younger. When the parents was gone, that's what people was doing. That's what the teens was doing. And it was just like it was okay. It was kind of normal to have those games. It was funny to go and say, "Oh well, we didn't had hide and all of that, and we'd caught them goosing in the closet, or even just the term goosing." And I feel like it's too normal in the black community that's also bred us to come up to think that it's okay, and it's really not.
Mm-mm.
You grounded from 10 years, 15 years
Oh, girl,
ago.
I did big grounded. COVID grounded me.
No, but you said something that was
Oh, man, that's so
no. Tawanda said something that was valid before you said that about where was that mother when Salou mentioned that young lady who was being molested by her father all them years. And the only reason I went back to that one was because it stuck out because here it is, this somebody's father.
Mm-mm.
That's different.
Mm.
Like I can speak from like an uncle, and the people I know was like it was like their neighbors, aunties, stuff like that. But
Mm-mm.
when it's your literal parent, I couldn't imagine the psychological damage that this person was going through, and that's why they ended up committing suicide. And she said, "Where was that girl,
yeah.
mama?" And all I could think about was the to the stuff you see on TV, even the stuff I've seen in person, where the mother puts her, since her self-esteem is so low, she puts her need for that man above that kid, and just allows this stuff to keep happening to this young lady.
I guess when I saw that, I instantly thought about Precious, the movie Precious,
Mm-hmm.
when Monique blamed her daughter for her man wanting her, and it's sad that
Mm-hmm.
you have some women mind that's so weak to the point where they get mad at their own for what the man is trying to do to their children. Like, are you serious? Are you really calling your daughter a mess because your man want her? Or how about get rid of that man and get your daughter and hug your daughter and love on your daughter. Tell your daughter you are sorry for letting this man even get close to her. This baby was laying in the bed with them over and touched her. You know?
Here's a man.
And then after that, kept messing with her throughout her life to be able to give her 2 children. And you stay with this man, knowing this man did this abuse to your daughter. How weak are you to even let that happen? And then the poor baby both of them ended up with this man.
Yeah.
And it's just sad. It's sad. It's sad. And I know a couple of women, I ain't gonna even lie, I know a couple of women out here who know their child has been molested by their man and they still be with them.
Oh my God.
So I steer away because I know me. And I know if I stay in that person's life, I'm only gonna create a mess.
That's facts,
Because
Jeff said,
that
hold
baby
up,
needs
y'all.
some type of protection.
Jeff say it's important to stress that it happens in all communities. I have quite a few friends that have had their fathers molest them. White, black, red, yellow. This problem is not discriminatory. Rich or poor.
It's definitely not. It's definitely not.
Absolutely, and we agree with you.
It's just a shame that these fathers want to do this to their own child, their own seed. Like, you can't get nobody else. You got to touch your own baby.
Yeah.
Go put
And what
yourself
can a
in the
baby do
hospital
for you?
somewhere.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. And I feel sorry for the boys that it happened to. Only because they don't shine a light. There's not real support for boys because they don't feel like boys should complain about that, because you're supposed to want a woman to touch you like that. So they don't treat boys like they would with us. And I feel like that's real messed up. And we need to do something about that. And like I said, shows like this gonna happen more often, y'all.
But I think that's also a male ego thing.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's the problem, though. That's why we gotta have more shows like this, so we can shine a light on what's happening. Because
I know,
huh?
Okay.
I have played a game with my brother. Like I say, I work in an adult store, and one of the questions was, "Have you ever had intercourse with your best friend's father or mother?" And the stories my brother was telling me, like, now that we older, we can talk about it, but it was kind of like, he was like, a lot of times when he was 15 and 16, he was sleeping with his friend's mother. And I was just like, okay, like in my head, I'm like, okay, if you was 15, I was like, nah, do you sitting up here sleeping with a 15-year-old? Like, that's not cool. And a lot of, I felt like for men, or even, I can't speak for all men, but for my brother, he just thought it was like cool points for him. But at the same time, that's basically being molested and groomed for an older woman to sit up there and say, okay, yes, I can sleep with my son's 15-year-old classmate and think that's okay, and it's not. And like you said, and it's a lot of men that grow up in that mind state of, oh, we're not allowed to have emotions. But I feel like that's a lot of reason why
people end up going to the streets or finding that love in the streets because
Yep.
they think that's love, and that's not what love is taught. That's not the real meaning of love. So it's just
Absolutely.
like you said, and it's just crazy because males go through it too, but they don't normalize it as that
Hey,
because how
Jeff
their
said something that's the truth
mentality is.
though. Jeff just said something that's the truth, y'all. He say when you're a boy and it's another boy or a man touching you is different. Now I couldn't that I can't speak to, but I can't imagine what it's like for the same sex to do something like that to you. I couldn't. Man, that's deep. Tawana, you was about to
Yeah,
say
it
something.
is.
Oh yeah, I was because I know I got to get up out of here and take my daughter to the doctor. So I was just gonna tell everybody, it's the parents. It's the parents that need to keep their kids close and keep watching their children. Stop giving up on your kids. Stop believing your kids is lying. Stop believing, that nothing can happen to your kids because you know this person and all this other stuff. That it just gotta stop. You know, we gotta stop somewhere. Yeah, we've been through what we've been through, and that's true. And like I said, I already told you, I ain't thinking about none of that stuff. Ain't none of that stuff stopping me from living my life. Period. It happened. It's over. I'm done with that. Yeah, everybody say, "How you be so strong?" I don't do none of that stuff. I don't, because it's not finna hold me down. It's not finna be in the back of my head. It's not finna be none of that shit. Well, that stuff is gone. Period. I'm not finna give it no type of power. Nothing. It's gone. It happened. So what? It's over with. I just know I'm a better me because it didn't make me go out and touch this person or touch that person or touch that person. So I'm not repeating nothing they did to me.
Mm-hmm.
On top of that, I'm teaching my girls the right way. If somebody do this, do that, yeah, come to me. They already know. The first thing they're gonna do is come to me. Period. I it's gonna be another show, but I gotta get up out of here. I hate this, because I've been to talk my butt off. But I gotta get up. She gotta be there before 2 o'clock,
Girl, do
and I
what you
gotta
gotta
go all
do,
the way
girl.
on 50 something. So
Season 2, we'll have another one. Still
it
trying to
was
come back.
nice seeing y'all.
Thanks for coming back.
I join back in another time. Okay.
All
Okay,
right, bye,
sis.
Okay.
Tawanda.
Love you
Thank you.
Okay. See y'all later. It
Bye,
was good talking
Tim.
with y'all. See y'all later.
See you later, honey.
Bye bye.
That's hilarious. Lily had one main. I just want to throw up that one more again. Watch your kids.
Watch your
Watch
Yep.
your kids. Everybody's so ready to get rid of their kids. You the one who was out there throwing them back, and now they here. Then you like go outside and go play, or you trying to drop them off at everybody's house. Watch your dang on kids, okay? It's worth it. She said, "Well, I fight with being okay with it." No, Lily, listen, girl, listen. I fight with being okay with it too. I don't fight with being okay with it. I'm more of the lines of I accept it. I use it to strengthen me, and I use it for things just like this, and sharing our stories and letting people know it's not your fault. You're still wonderful despite what happened to you. It don't change the person you are, and don't let nothing dictate or define who you are. Only you get to do that. So that's what I would say to that. And then our brother Jeff says these abusers are crafty statistically, and it's the ones that are closest to the family that are doing the molesting. Yes. And this is why
Yes.
hopefully in doing more shows like this, we will strengthen some people to come forward with what they're going through, with the people who've touched them in wrong ways. We will ignite change in people teaching their children what safe touches look like. We will stop putting so much emphasis on sex and more on brain
Yeah.
activity, because if we focus more up here instead of what's all up on this body, then people won't just be focused there. You know what I'm saying? So, um, with this last minute, I'm gonna tell y'all I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. I appreciate y'all even more for being with us through this episode. I know it was a rough episode, but we actually did have a couple laughs in there, so it was still good. And before I say anything else, courage or wisdom, do you want to leave the people with anything?
I just wanted to say, stay strong out there. I know this is a touchy subject, but it needs to be talked about, and I'm glad that we have the platform to shed light on these topics because not everyone's talking about these things. So good on you, strength for having this conversation and bringing on our guests. It was really insightful.
I appreciate you. How about you, Miss Courage? You're
All I'm
welcome.
gonna say, I'm gonna leave it with this: watch, teach, and love your kids, cause it's getting real out here.
And
Hmm.
I'm gonna leave you one last thing besides putting your crown on and put that lantern in your crown and turn that light up, letting positivity radiate all through your body, let anything negative bounce back. And remember that recovery from any trauma, whether it's molestation, stroke, no matter what it is, it has no time limit. So don't judge how long it takes somebody to get through what they're going through. Be patient with them and with yourself, and know that you're loved. And we appreciate y'all so much. Love
Bye, guys.
you. Until next time.